submissions for our next Valley Voices Story Slam.
If you've got a true story that could be titled, Let Me Explain, we want to hear it.
Submit the first line of your story, and you could be on stage next month for our slam.
Go to nepm.org and find out how to audition.
You're watching New England Public Media on WGBY Springfield.
Being a veteran is like speaking a different language. And when you're around these people who have served, you feel understood.
You know, for 70 years, I never talked about it. It's like a big weight that I've been carrying around. Now I want to talk about it.
Watch American Veteran live October 26th or stream anytime at nepm.org.
Coming up, stories we're connecting you with tonight. Don't touch that dial. We'll look back at 40 years of community-focused radio at WRSI.
Radio was so different back then because this is the pre-internet era. Even pre-digital music era. You know, we were playing LPs. CDs were just coming in at that point.
One of the Berkshire's most beloved festivals is back, just in time for Hispanic Heritage Month.
We're a very loving people, and we want to get to know you as much as you want to get to know us.
And bite into one of the best hot dogs in the state at an iconic eatery in North Adams.
12 seats, a couple of grills, friolators, lots of dogs, lots of burgers, steamed buns, and lots of locals coming in.
We'll bring you those stories and more as we explore the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. Up next on Connecting Point.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for Connecting Point. I'm 𝗙𝗲𝘀𝘀. WRSI first went on the air in 1981 as a small, locally owned radio station in Greenfield, Massachusetts. The station has experienced many changes over the years, including a move to Northampton in 2001. But through all the ups and downs, one thing hasn't changed: the music they play and their commitment to the community they serve. To celebrate 40 years of WRSI, producer Dave Frazier talked with some of the people responsible for the Western Mass radio station's success over the years.
That's the Felice Brothers on the River. I'm Joan Holiday. I came here 11 years ago.
Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll play Get the Connection. I started here in 2002. I was basically a glorified intern and sometimes lucky sidekick to the morning show host at the time, who happened to be Rachel Maddow.
I was mostly, as I recall, the midday host, and I was the music and program director.
My name is John Riley, and I'm known as Johnny Memphis because that's the radio name I took when I started working at WRSI in 1986.
It was a loan for $60,000 to build the tower, $20,000 for operating costs. And I said, what's operating costs? And the guy at the bank says, that's so you could operate for at least 3 months until your cash starts coming in. Oh, that's a great idea. So there it was. Got on the air at noon, July 26, 1981, and our first disc jockey, Phil Drumheller, Phil D, did the first broadcast.
Ed started the station literally himself, built the equipment in the studio himself. When I got there, the music that was programmed was Ed's record collection, literally.
We're running reel-to-reel tape machines because there was no digital back then. We ran records and tapes.
This goes out to Dennis down in Hadley. You wanted to hear some Fats Waller.
We played like jazz, blues, reggae, pop, country, folk, singer-songwriter. It was really quite a wide mix. I had a lot of shows, but I did eventually really end up in the afternoon, which was really the best place for me because, for one thing, I got to interview all these amazing musicians who were coming to the area who would play live in the studio.
We've got Joe Ely and John Hyatt in the studio. Joe, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? Quiche and caviar.
People like Taj Mahal, who of course is from Springfield, and Dan Hicks, and B.B. King. I interviewed B.B. King in his road bus, actually, next to the Calvin. Hundreds of people that I got a chance to meet and have fun with.
Radio was so different back then because this is the pre-internet era, even pre-digital music era. We were playing LPs to start with. The CDs were just coming in at that point. Back then, we all worked a lot of hours and we had fun. It was really a fun kind of Wild West place back then.
Whoa, buddy rubbish.
I was in the periphery of the Buddy Rubbish era too, and he's one of the big legends of WRSI. There was a legendary story where the beaches at Puffer's Pond were going to be closed because they couldn't afford to keep them clean or something, and Buddy was like, I'm not going to have it. So he said, I'm going to broadcast from a raft in the middle of Puffer's Pond until we raise enough money to open the beaches up again. And so a lot of the dumb things that I've done over the years are based on that kind of notion. So like being stranded in the middle of downtown Northampton in a campsite in the cold to raise money for the Cancer Connection is a direct analog to that Buddy Rubbish on a raft in the middle of Puffer's Pond.
Coming up, we'll have bird songs today. We'll talk. Oh, I do bird songs with Dan 𝗙𝗲𝘀 because everybody loves bird songs. It's sort of it's a hallmark of my show now, which I never thought would happen. But if I miss a day, people freak out.
Different is good. Mornings with Monty on the river.
This was another Facebook thing along
It's unique, it's live, and I think there's more diversity in this area than you're going to find in the big cities.
It was allowed to kind of flourish in this way, in this soil of the Pioneer Valley, and become this thing that's very unique, like the Pioneer Valley is unique, in a way that's not so predetermined that, you can flow with it a little bit, flow with the river, as it were.
One of the most anticipated cultural events in Berkshire County is back in person this year. The Festival Latino of the Berkshires will celebrate its 25th anniversary Saturday, September 25th in Great Barrington. And with its return comes the food, music, and dancing the community eagerly awaits each year. I spoke with Erika Wainwright Vélez, Public Relations Manager, to learn more about how the festival began and how it has grown and evolved since the first festival in 1995.
So the Festival Latino was founded by Liliana Ortiz Bermúdez and Germán Bermúdez, as well as their friend Doris Orellano. They're the founders of the Festival Latino of the Berkshires. And in the 1980s, they were living here and they were going to different events. And at the time, there was no, Latino representation in the different events that they were going to. So they wanted to see some kind of Latino presence in the area, but there was none.
Since 1995, this festival has begun. I'm sure that it has evolved and grown over the years. Talk to me about that change that has happened, that we've seen.
Yeah, the Festival Latino began purely as a celebration. They wanted to have fun. They wanted an opportunity to celebrate with the Latino community in the area. They wanted a space where they could show their pride, their culture, their folklore. But what they didn't realize in its inception was that Festival Latino would become an impactful, powerful, and influential educational experience for everyone as well.
This festival has created a legacy in the Berkshires with its cultural performances, music, and of course, food. What can we expect during this milestone celebration this year?
We have 6 different professional dance groups coming from New York City who are all going to perform representing the folklore of the various countries that they're coming from. We have local performances. We have local vendors, food vendors. We have organizations coming to do activities with kids, social organizations coming to promote their services, both for the Latino and non-Hispanic communities in the area. All around, this celebration is a collaboration between both local community members and businesses, as well as performances from professional groups.
In the Berkshire Eagle, organizers of the festival described this event as one of the most eagerly anticipated cultural events of the year. In your opinion, what do you think it is about this event that makes the community so eager for it to happen each year?
I think a big part of it is how much joy and how much pride and how much just excitement there is within our culture that we're here to display and to represent. We come from so many different countries within, Latin America, but there's so much culture within each of those countries that's represented. It's also just so exciting to have so many different cultures within the overall umbrella of Latin America coming to this festival and being represented and offering not only the non-Hispanic community to learn and to participate in all of that culture, but also for the Hispanic community to really express their pride and enjoy a little piece of home.
You spoke a little bit about the educational aspect, which was really interesting, because I also remember at the festival that there was a table to come speak conversational Spanish. And what other ways is there educational elements throughout the festival for people to learn more about their culture if they are of the Hispanic Latino community, or for others who are from different communities in the region?
I think every piece of the Festival Latino is educational in some way. Each of the professional performances are displaying some piece of their own folklore from, be it Mexico, the Dominican Republic, where I'm from Costa Rica, from wherever the countries that are being represented. Each group is coming to show off their own folklore and tell their own stories. So that in and of itself is educational. Learning about the different foods from the vendors, you can always have a conversation and learn about the different foods. There are artisans, there are artists showing off their art. And overall, there's just a huge community of Latin American people and Hispanic people there. So I think every little component comes together to be an educational experience in a lot of different ways.
What has been the most rewarding part for you being a part of this festival?
That's a great question. So when I was younger, I remember dancing in the Lee Founders Day parade with the Festival Latino. So now being able to participate as part of the committee organizing the Festival Latino has been incredibly gratifying. And I have a lot of gratitude for the Latin American community in the area as being part of my upbringing and my education. And I have a lot of love for them. So being able to give some of that back and participate in the creation of the celebration has definitely been gratifying.
When I visited the festival back in 2019 for Connecting Point, I spoke with founder Liliana, and I remember her telling me that in her first 10 to 12 years living in Berkshire County, she rarely saw any fellow Latinos in the community. But now much of that has changed. So what would you like people to know about this growing community in the Berkshire County?
I would love people to know about our joy. I would love people to know about our talent. I would love people to know about the hardworking, community-oriented nature that we have culturally. And I would love people to know that we're a very loving people and we want to get to know you as much as you want to get to know us. So I think the festival is a perfect opportunity for our communities to all come together, to learn about each other, to celebrate with each other, and to support each other.
All month long, NEPM and Connecting Point will continue celebrating the rich diversity of Latino culture right here in Western New England. This Sunday, September 26th at 6 p.m., NEPM 88.5 FM presents 𝗙𝗲𝗀𝘀 featuring a selection of chamber music from Puerto Rican composers. And find more stories of the creativity, culture, and communities that make up the Latino experience in our region online at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Over the years, Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan has explored different facets of the American dining experience. Whether it's the enduring legacy of the roadside diner, the disappearing family-owned donut shop, or the multi-generational pizza place that helps keep the community together. Each locale offers up an experience that is just as memorable as the food. In this next story, Brian visits a hot dog stand in North Adams that was there long before any of today's diners, donut shops, or pizza places and shows no signs of slowing down.
Eagle Street in North Adams has only one way in, with an entrance that looks like something we might see in a history book of what people thought the modern American street would look like heading into the 20th century. There's also one business on this historic road that appears as though it's been here since shovels first hit the ground in this section of downtown. And since 1917, it's managed to outlive nearly every other local business that's popped up here from World War I to present day. So how did something as simple as a place that sells hot dogs and hamburgers survive over a century's worth of economic downturns and catastrophes? Well, the answer is actually quite simple.
We put out our food as cheaply and as efficiently. It's always fresh. It's inexpensive, and people we rely on repeat customers. It's a very simple process.
12 seats, a couple of grills, friolators, lots of dogs, lots of burgers, steamed buns, and lots of locals coming in. That's been the recipe for success here. And even though North Adams has trended more artsy and touristy since the late 1990s, Jack's has always been the towny spot for generations of working class folks raising their families here. Whether they're working at the hospital, the bank, hanging sheetrock, pounding nails, or doing whatever they have to do to maintain a bottom line, this has been their lunch counter.
This is the people you need to take care of. This is the people we cater to. It's like the cherry on the sundae to have tourists come in. But I know January, February, and March, you need your regular customers in here. And those regular customers are your contractors, and everybody you just mentioned.
That philosophy of taking care of locals was preached by Jeff's grandfather, the first generation of this Greek family enterprise, now in its fourth generation, with Jeff's son Joe in the mix manning the grill. Apparently, the philosophy works because there are still customers coming in who've been here for all 4 generations.
I've been coming here for 74 years. Can you imagine that? I sat in there, I sat there, and my mother sat next to me. 74 years.
And it's not just for the townies. If memory serves, they used to let college creeps like me in here, too.
Back when I was in college out here, none of us had cars, so we almost never ventured out beyond our 1-block radius of campus. But on those rare occasions when we had an extra couple of bucks in our pockets, we would walk a few more blocks to come down here to Jack's.
Turns out that the couple of bucks I had back in 1995 could still serve me well now, all these years later. In that case, I'll have a chili cheeseburger and a double cheese with onions, mustard, and relish. I did have to wonder, though, for a place that does zero advertising, and aside from the giant hot dog out front, no marketing either, how is it possible to stay afloat with prices that really don't reflect the current day and age?
Owning the property I'm in, I don't have a mortgage. I can keep my prices down. That's another thing my grandfather always said. If you own the property you're in, you don't have to pay rent. You don't have to pay mortgage. You can keep your prices down. He was adamant on keeping the prices down as low as you can. Make your profit. And he always told me, you're never going to get rich owning Jack's, but if you take care of it, it will take care of you.
Just like hot dogs, cross-country road trips are an iconic part of the American experience. Author Bill Harley's latest novel weaves a fictional tale about a young girl, her on-the-spectrum brother, and their monumental cross-country journey after the death of their mother. In a digital exclusive, Harley reads an excerpt from that novel, Now You Say Yes, where protagonist Mari contemplates her future while watching a solar eclipse during her journey across the U.S.
She lowers her head and takes off her glasses, and what she sees around her is as astonishing as what is happening above. She sees everyone looking up, their mouths open, but she sees beyond that. She sees their pudgy knees and their wheelchairs and their skinniness and their grasping and their wanting and their desperation to fit in.
You can find this interview as well as extra features, digital-only content, and so much more online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Western New England is home to several vibrant music scenes, and one local nonprofit's mission is to support and help advance the careers of the area's talented musicians. The New Music Alliance is dedicated to showcasing creative local musicians who write original music, as well as promoting our region as a destination for original music writing, production, and performances. I spoke with Executive Director Mark Sherry, Assistant Director Mark Ramon, and Board Member Miriam Sorota to learn more about the organization, its events, and initiatives.
The local music scene is just so incredibly rich in this region. And it's not necessarily well known anywhere out of the area. And musicians traditionally get attention much more so if they're somewhere around, either a major city or a music hub like, Nashville or Austin or something like that. And around here, it's much more difficult for really good artists to get the kind of attention that they deserve. There's an amazing amount of music here, and a lot of people do go to New York City eventually, but a lot of people stay and a lot of people come back here. And I just felt like we needed to do something to give them the kind of attention and also foster young musicians and try and help them assist their careers and help them advance their careers.
You recently launched the Essential Western New England Songbook that contains 151 songs written by artists from this region. Talk to me about why this was an important project and what makes this songbook so essential.
I thought that with the songbook, what we can do is show what's the best stuff that people have been able to do and show that it's as good as anything that they could hear on the radio. In fact, it's a lot of it you do hear on the radio. When you look at that and you see the breadth and the quality that's there, and you say, I can go out and listen to some of these people on the weekend.
And let's talk a little bit about the breadth of the range that is included in this essential songbook, because I'm sure there are names that will surprise people that are included from this area that they listen to all the time. So what can people expect from this songbook?
Well, it goes all the way back to the 1950s. There are people on it like the Five Satins and Gene Pitney, who are just icons from back then and produce some great stuff.
Bill Flagg.
Bill Flagg as well. He's the inventor of rockabilly.
Yeah.
But then you go, to people who are around us right now. Taj Mahal from Springfield, Arlo Guthrie from out in the Berkshires, a band like Stained from Springfield, which was, a mega selling band. Avery Sharp, a legend in the jazz world. We could go on.
But there are also, what I really enjoy about it too, is that there are a lot of young bands coming out of here. I'm going to give an example, if I can. 𝗙𝗲𝘀𝗀𝗀, who are great. They're a women's band. They're very young. They're very original. There's like nothing derivative about what they do. Yes, it's funk music, but they are in the songbook.
Now, there are several ways that you work with local artists, including offering workshops that are available on your website, as well as having the New Music Alliance Radio Hour that the three of you are DJs for, and it airs on several local stations. Now, 2 years into this show, what have you enjoyed most about it? And has there been anything that has surprised you about doing this radio show?
I just think that it's great that there are alternatives to what large companies and nationwide commercial stations are feeding us for entertainment. We can listen to local talent on small commercial radio stations, see bands at local venues, and listen to songs that were produced by local recording studios. I think it's an alternative that people will find very, pleasing and something different if they just go out and make an effort to try something different.
It's a lot of fun. The way it's done is that every week somebody puts together the playlist, and then you have one of the other DJs as a guest, and usually Violet, who's fantastic and does our editing. And so putting together the list itself is is so much fun. I tend to, go for themes. Everybody has their own thing. And it's wonderful to see people's taste, their point of view, what they, what draws them to certain artists. Like I know if, we work with this person, they might bring in some, classical or jazz music that we've never heard before.
The music that we bring in, we have a huge choice of. So what we bring in is all really excellent quality music. When I first started this, one of the things that amazed me is that I thought eventually we were going to run out of really good songs from artists from this area. And because I'm very, very committed to only, showing like really what the best of music can be, so people can say, wow, I want to support this. So we haven't even come close to running out of all the stuff that people are producing and have produced from this area that is really great stuff.
Well, I wanted to touch on also, because Miriam and Mark Sherry, you're both originally from New York but have relocated to this region. Mark, you have always lived in the Western New England region. What has been your favorite thing about music and artists that come out of this region specifically?
There's a lot of colleges in Western New England, and that's usually a great hub for listening to new, young local talent.
There is a very collaborative, spirit of, creating music here. And I think that's really important. And one thing I want to just reiterate is that just remember, everything that we play is original music by local artists. So it's all original music by local artists.
Now, for any local artists out there, how do you encourage them to be a part of the New Music Alliance?
newmusicalliance@gmail.com, and you'll be able to get a hold of us, or just go to our website. I think all that information's there too.
That does it for Connecting Point for September 24th, 2021. Remember, you can always find the stories that you saw tonight, as well as exclusive features, digital-only content, and more online anytime at nepm.org/connectingpoint. And please be sure to join us again next Friday at 6 right here on New England Public Media for more stories of the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. I'm 𝗙𝗲𝘀. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
This fall, New England Public Media honors Hispanic Heritage Month with stories that celebrate the culture, heritage, and accomplishments of Hispanic and Latino Americans. From the 70-year career of award-winning actress Rita Moreno,